great student body, friends of Piedmont, and those who love the Lord. And an invitation to those who do not know Him. We trust that in His grace you will find the greatest happiness in the world. I'd like to give a personal testimony. You know, when you can be famous just by staying here a long time. But I can say truthfully before the Lord, while I've been preaching 61 years, pastor 27 years, actually I've been a Christian 78 years. I was saved right after I was 3 years of age. God called me to preach when I didn't know a preacher. But as I look back and think of the difficulties, and we're going to have them, they're in life, it's part of our training. But my testimony is this. In my 81st birthday, I'm the happiest I've ever been in my life. And if you're in the Lord, then tomorrow doesn't make much difference as long as we have His fellowship. Some things you learn to appreciate. You learn to appreciate the power of the gospel and the faithfulness of the Lord and all that goes along with this. You lose many things. You lose some friends, but not for long. But along with this, you learn to appreciate the servants of the Lord and the friends that we have now. And even though you lose a generation, we can also cultivate friendships that are just as precious as any that we've lost by death. And my advice to you is to make friends while you're in school, make friends with those who love the Lord. Going back just a minute I don't capitalize on the age except just to say, as I said last week when I stood up to preach, I said, I'm glad to be here. I'm just glad to be anywhere. Then I told him also, I heard from Herman this morning indirectly, and I told him that which he told us when he was here a year ago. When he was 91, he's 92, moving towards 93. He hopes to make it. They had a banquet for him in Newport News. Many of the pastors, he had organized 20-odd churches, Baptist churches, and being a patriarch, so to speak, they made a great deal of him, both men and women. That's always true when you get past 80 in particular. A little girl present heard him talking about him, and so when he'd finished, she slipped up to him and said, Dr. Stevens, were you in the ark? He said, no, but said, why'd you get drowned then? What is Christianity? How would you define to a person who had never heard of Christianity, and they wanted a definition, and you only had a brief time to answer, what would you say? I think the answer that I would give without hesitation would be this, that Christianity is Christ. That Christianity is not a religion, but a life. A divine life made accessible to us through the incarnation of Jesus Christ, who took upon himself our blood type in order to give us a transfusion, as well as redemption and transfusion, and the thrill and the joy and the momentum of life that never had a beginning, that will never end. He had to become man in order to bring us into living contact with himself. We have something the angels do not have, or the archangels. Citizens, creatures, but in the recreation, greater than the first creation, we've been somehow inducted into the family of God to share the divine nature with somebody in God's sight.